Hey guys, and welcome to my Brewmaster guide for the Shadowlands expansion. Here I'm going to tell you how to tank, use your spells, basically just a rundown of the Brewmaster in general. So let's get on with it. Alright, the first unique thing about the Brewmaster to any other tanks is your ability to stagger damage. This is basically a passive effect that it takes a chunk of your damage and it deals it to you over time. Now it's based on your agility. See, I can do 38% of the damage. So every piece of damage I take, 38% of it is staggered over time. Now, when you use spells in your rotation as well, you gain a stack of shuffle. Now, shuffle is another passive spell which basically increases the effectiveness of your stagger by 100%. So if you see here now, if I run over here to a training dummy, so you can see, if I use one of my spells like Blackout Kick, you see now my stagger is increased to 68. See what I mean? So as long as you're constantly using the spells in your rotation, you can stagger more, 100% more because of shuffle. Alright, so that's basically why Brewmaster Monks have got some of the best mitigation basically. And what you do as a Brewmaster is when you take the damage, you've got a little stagger bar underneath your health here. So you can see that. As you take damage, your stagger bar will fill up. And you have two types of brews. So see, I've got a little bit of stagger there. If I use Purifying Brew, it clears 50% of that stagger, and it gives me a stack of Purifying Chi. Each stack of Purifying Chi will increase the effectiveness of your next shield. And then a Celestial Brew. Now this will give you a big shield, and like I said, depending on how many stacks of Purifying Chi you have, will mean the shield gets stronger. So you should know as well that when you take stagger damage, the more damage you're able to clear with your Purifying Brew will actually give you more stacks of Purifying Chi. So you've got obviously like green stagger levels, orange, and then red. And basically if you can clear red stagger, you'll get more stacks of Purifying Chi than you would if you did yellow stagger, if you know what I mean. So it's easier to build like a bigger shield, if you know what I mean. So that's basically how Purifying Chi and how Purifying Brews and Celestial Brews work. Just so you know as well, you've got another kind of brew which is called Fortifying Brew. This is like your only untalented defensive cooldown. It is a pretty good one. It increases your health by 20%, increases the effectiveness of your stagger by 10%, and it reduces all damage you take by 20%. So it is a really good defensive cooldown, but yeah, unfortunately without talents you've only got that one. But as you follow your rotation, which is not really like too like, you don't have to have a specific rotation for the Brewmaster really. You can do what you want. Just basically know that your Keg Smash will reduce the cooldowns of your brews. So if you use your brews and then use your Keg Smash, I'll show you. I use my Celestial and then bang, you see that? 3 seconds off each time you use Keg Smash. And that works the same for the Fortifying Brew as well. So it's got a 6-minute cooldown. So you want to chuck as many of those Keg Smashes out as possible, basically. So your Keg Smashes is basically like your AoE roundup. This is how you like grab all the mods. You wanna hit them with your Keg Smash. That's like your main spell. Then once you've hit them with your Keg Smash, you've covered them in like a layer of alcohol, basically, and then you use your Monk's Fire Breath to set them on fire. You see what I mean? So now you've set the alcohol on fire, you know what I mean? So yeah, your Blackout Kick also grants you Shuffle, and it also gives you an Elusive Brawler, which is your Mastery one of your master effects. So each time you hit with Blackout Kick, you gain a stack of 22 dodge. Now this will increase like indefinitely until you dodge. So it's really nice to sort of like mitigate a bit more damage because you know eventually you're going to be dodging like crazy. So yeah, that's another nice thing. So that's basically your Blackout Kick, which is just a single target attack. Your Tiger Palm is another single target attack that just uses a little bit of energy. Blackout Kick doesn't use any energy, but it is on a cooldown. So you see, bang, it's got a 4-second cooldown, but doesn't use any energy. Whereas Tiger Palm uses energy, but doesn't have a cooldown. So another thing to know about Tiger Palm is it reduces the cooldown of your brews again by another second. So if you're using that, let me use the Celestial. You're using your Kick Smash and your Tiger Palms. It's just gonna bring down the cooldown of all your brews. So that's really cool. Obviously you got your taunt and stuff like that. Another really great thing about monks is you've got a nice AoE stun. That's probably the best thing about your CC when it comes to dungeons and stuff like that. You can literally stun a whole route, which is nice. So it definitely comes in handy. I'll go through like the untalented spells first. So Zen Meditation is a 5-minute cooldown which reduces all damage you take by 60% for 8 seconds. However, if you get hit by a melee attack, or what was that saying? Melee attack or taking another action. Oh yeah, if you use another spell, obviously. So basically, if you take a melee attack or use another spell, it will cancel the Zen Meditation. But if you're just taking sort of like range magical damage, you can have like an 8-second reduction. Or say if a boss is going to do like a big hit on you or something like that, and you know it's coming, you can literally just pop that, and it reduces the damage by 60%. So it's nice. It's really nice. Obviously you get the Touch of Death. Now Touch of Death is basically dependent on which kind of target you're attacking. If you're attacking like a boss or something like this, it'll wait until it gets to like 15% of their health, and then you can literally instant cast and deal damage up to 35% of your health to them. That's what Touch of Death is. But if you go onto lower mobs, like just like trash mobs or something like that, you can literally Touch of Death. It wouldn't let me show you on these target enemies, but basically you can just Touch of Death a small mob from full to nothing. Touch of Death is a really nice spell, and it's like a sort of execute kind of thing. So that's really nice. Another thing you have is Spinning Crane Kick, which is a good way of adding a little bit more AoE damage and sort of collecting up adds and stuff like this. And the interesting thing about Spinning Crane Kick is you see how it's a grey casting bar right there. You can actually use other spells whilst you're using Spinning Crane Kick, and it will not interrupt Spinning Crane Kick. So that's really cool. You can like run in. I'll talk about Rush of Jade in a minute because it's a talented spell. So yeah. So yeah, as I said, you can run in, bang, and you can use your Kick Smashers as well. So it helps you like pick up adds easier and stuff like that. And if you're dealing damage to like groups of adds, it adds a little bit more sort of damage to the group, which is really good. So another thing about the monk is you've got like great mobility. You've got basically 2 rolls. Now here I've got it talented to something else, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. But yeah, you can basically you can roll around. I'll show you quickly. I'll change my. Oh, I cannot change during combat. Okay, well yeah, you can roll basically as a monk. You get 2 charges of it, and it's really good for mobility. You can get in and out of stuff really quickly. Blah blah blah. There's also a charge, right? Now, this charge is quite strange. I don't really use it very much. I should really, because it slows everybody in effect. But you see, you charge each other basically. Oh, it won't let me show you on the target dummy because he's in one location. But basically, you and the ad that you've selected will charge at each other, and you'll sort of like smash into each other and reduce the movement speed of everybody else, which is pretty good. But I don't really use it that much. I don't know why. Maybe I should give it a bit more of a go. Anyway, you've also got a incapacitate, which is like a paladin's repentance, or like a sap, or like a trap, or something like that. Polymorph. You see what I mean? It's just like an incap, which means that mob will be stunned for a while. So that's really nice for CCing. You can obviously vivify yourself, which is a heal. You can vivify yourself or others. Detox, which is your removes all poison and disease effects. This is really good, this expansion. I use detox on myself a lot, which is pretty good because it means the healer doesn't have to worry about it. They can detox. They can sort of like remove curses and stuff from other people. That's really good. You've also got like a little teleport spell. You can basically place a version of yourself somewhere. You can run around, and as long as you stay within 40 yards, bang, you can teleport to that spot, and it leaves another version of yourself in another position. These last for 15 minutes, so, but yeah, just remember it's only got a 40-yard range, so you can't go like running miles and just teleport back. So that's the little teleport spell. You've also got a ranged lightning spell, which is nice. I don't really use it that much. It's mainly like a pull-in spell, but to be honest, it will give you hardly any aggro on the mob at all, so it's better just to run in and use your kick smash or use your taunt to pull them. Because your taunt's got a 30-yard range on it, which is nice. So, oh, also your taunt increases the movement speed of the mob that you've taunted. So you can sort of like select one mob out to sort of like right at the back. If he's right at the back, you can taunt the mob right at the back and he'll run through everybody and they'll all be at like the same sort of pace, if you know what I mean. So that's really good. What else do we cover? There is a Celestial as well. So your Celestial is a little animal spirit buddy that you can sort of summon. And he's called Nazal. He's an ox. And basically what he will do is he will take a certain percentage of your stamina, not your stamina, sorry, your stagger damage, 25%, sorry. 25% of your recently... No, never mind, sorry. 25% of the damage you delay from your stagger will be transferred to Nazal instead. So your stagger will be more effective. And also, he does a stomp every couple of seconds, which if you're taking a lot of damage and you're gaining a lot of stagger, it will do 25% of the damage that you've just cleared with your Purifying Brew in an Aoe stomp. So obviously if you've got high red level stagger and you purify it when Nazal's out, it'll do like a hefty amount of Aoe damage. And also Nazal creates quite a lot of aggro as well, so he can actually like pull mobs off you and other people. So that's really nice. And he can take a bit of damage as well, good old Nazal. So that's really nice. Right. That's basically your baseline spells that you get as a monk. So you got your interrupt as well, your little spear hand strike, which is just your interrupt. It's on a 15-second cooldown, which is the same as most, I do believe, like rogues and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically all your spells that you get baseline as a Brewmaster Monk. So now next, let's move on to we did a little bit about rotation and stuff like that. It's not really like too strict, you know what I mean? Just collect up all the ads, use your spells, blah blah blah. We covered defensive utilities. That's your Purifying Brew and your Zen meditation. So next, let's go on to the talent guide, I guess. Alright, okay. Eye of the Tiger. See, now this used to be pretty good because it put like a dot on people and it would heal you and deal nature damage to other people. But since the Shadowland came out, they've only limited it to one person, so it's not really that great of a choice. My choice personally is Chi Wave. It's sort of like a little sort of ball that travels around between enemies and allies, and it will, see what I mean? It will jump between them, it will damage enemies, and it will heal you and your allies as well. So that's my personal choice. I quite like it. Chi Burst is also a viable option. So basically it shoots out like it's a casting spell basically. So you cast it. It's a 0.9 second cast on 30-second cooldown. And it's basically like a, if you've ever watched like animes and stuff like that, it's like a Hadouken fucking kind of spell. So it'll shoot like a bolt of energy through, and it'll deal damage to all the enemies, and it'll heal allies and stuff like that. So it's not a bad choice, but to be honest, the fact that you have to channel it and stuff like that, it doesn't really get my vote. My personal choice is the Chi Wave. So on to the next line. This is like a mobility line, kind of. Oh yeah, it is. So the first one you get is Celerity, which reduces the cooldown of your rolls by 5 seconds and gives you another one. So instead of having 2 rolls, you would have 3. So it's nice, but to be honest, you have enough rolls anyway, and they're on a short enough cooldown anyway, to be fair. So I don't really go for this choice. Chi Torpedo. Now, it's not really the best choice in my opinion, because the next spell, I'll talk to you about Tiger's Lust first. Tiger's Lust is a spell that you can pop on yourself or pop on your teammates, which is an instant cast spell on a 30-second cooldown. It's got 20 yard range, and basically it will remove all roots and snares from you and give you a 70% movement increase for 6 seconds. So if you're stuck or your teammate's stuck, you can bang this on them, and it will free them and increase their movement speed by 70%. So this is really the best choice because it gives you the extra removal from roots and snares and stuff like this. But if you're a little bit selfish like me and you want like better mobility, then Chi Torpedo is really great. I'll tell you what it does. Basically, it gives you a longer distance on your rolls because you're sort of like diving and twisting through the air. So there's that. And it also increases your movement speed by 30% for 10 seconds, and it stacks up to 2 times. Alright, now what I can actually show you is that you can Chi Torpedo once, pew, and you see you get the buff for like 8 seconds or something like that for 30% movement increase. But however, if you use it again, you get 2 stacks of it. So you can literally use the first one, run yourself at 30% until you get to 1 second, and then you can use it again, get to 2 stacks of the Chi Torpedo thing, and you can actually travel for further, and you get 60% on the second one. So this is why I use it, because for just moving and keeping ahead of the group and stuff like that, so that you're leading all the time, it's great. And to be honest, like when it comes to mechanics and stuff like that, it's really nice to get you out of things with that extra distance and that extra walking speed as well, because it just means you're not as slow. And see what I mean? You can get out of mechanics much easier with Chi Torpedo, I find. The only problem with Chi Torpedo is I have like basically killed myself with it a lot. That's probably my fault. But yeah, it's very easy to sort of I misclick it sometimes and stuff like that, and it throws me off the edges of things. So it has its good and its bads, but that's more my fault than the spells. So moving on to the next spell, the next row, sorry. We have Light Brewing, which basically reduces the cooldown of all of your brews, and sorry, not all of your brews. It doesn't reduce the cooldown of Fortifying Brew, so it's only your Purifying Brew and your Celestial Brew. So this is just a flat 20% reduction in the cooldowns. So this is the one I picked because, you know, it's a passive effect. You haven't got to click anything, you haven't got to do anything, and it is beneficial, you know what I mean? So this is one that I choose. The next one is that your Tiger Palm has a 25% chance of reducing the cooldown of your Fire Breath. To be honest, this is like kind of a waste at this road, to be honest, because you don't really need your fire breath too much as long as you're dousing them and the alcohol and you're breathing on them once, and that's pretty much all you need to do. So yeah, this isn't really my choice. And Blackhawk's Brew is another viable option because you can basically use all of your brews, and then you can pop Blackhawk's Brew and it resets the cooldown of them, and it refills your energy as well. So it is nice if you know it's going to be like a really stressful fight and you're going to take lots of damage. If it's like a tank harsh fight, it can be really good because you can just keep clearing and keep clearing and keep popping your shield and stuff like that. So it is a viable option, definitely. But my personal choice is the light brewing. On the next row is sort of like your utility, your sort of like stuns or something like that. And for me, there's only one real choice here. That's Ring of Peace. It's a really, really great spell. It puts a ring on the floor, and basically no enemies, apart from like bosses and large elites, can enter the circle. It's really, really good for when you want to like clear necrotic or something like that, to just keep ads away from you. And you can just like, say if I was to use it at the bottom of these stairs, you can just block it off and you and your whole team can stand behind it. It's really, really good. It lasts for 5 seconds. It's got 40-yard range. It interrupts people and stuff like that. It's great. It's definitely my choice for this row. Next we have the Blackhawk Statue. It summons a statue at a location where you choose, and it pulses threat to all enemies. So it's basically like a pet. You know what I mean? Like a pet statue. It is good for hard situations where there's like absolutely tons of ads and stuff like this. If you know you're not going to be able to get them with your 2 kick smashes and your spinning Kring Kick and your Russian Jade Wind, and it can be good. Another really good thing about it is if you cast your taunt onto the statue instead of an enemy, it will taunt all of the enemies near the statue. So that's really good. It is a really good spell sometimes, but I still choose Ring of Peace over it. Tiger Tail increases the range of your leg sweep and reduces its cooldown. It increases range by 2 yards, which is not great, and it reduces the cooldown by 10 seconds, which is okay, I guess, but it's not really that great for me, and it comes nowhere up to Ring of Peace, so this is what I use. Next, on this row, you sort of got like your defensive or your healing ability, like extra healing ability, basically. I'll talk about Bob and Weave first. If you're new to Brewmaster, then this is the one that I would pick, because it means the damage you take from your Stagger is spread out over a longer period of time, so you actually take less damage each tick of Stagger. Stagger lasts over 10 seconds, by the way, so this would increase it to 13 seconds, so that's really nice. If you're new to tanking and you don't know when you need to like pop big defensive skills and stuff like that, then definitely use Bob and Weave, because it will just make it easier and it's a passive and you don't have to click anything and think about it. Okay, next on the line we have Healing Elixir. This is a nice spell. It heals you 15% of your maximum health and it's got 2 charges. However, when you think in terms of tanking, if you heal yourself for if you're taking a lot of damage and you heal yourself for 15% of your health, it'll just get taken down quick. You know what I mean? It's a nice extra heal, but it's not helping you in the situations. Do you know what I mean? Where it can literally, there can be hundreds and hundreds of mobs off you, on you, and they'll take not hundreds, sorry, but you know what I mean. It'll take that health off you really quickly. So my choice is Dampen Harm. It adds another defensive cooldown to your abilities, and basically it reduces all damage you take by 20 to 50% for 10 seconds, with larger attacks being reduced more. So if you take damage from heavy hitters, it will reduce that to 50%. And if you're taking like small little damage from little things, it will reduce 20%. So if you know you're going to pull like a big group and it's going to do a lot of damage to you, and you can't kite it or something like this, then you need to pop your dampen harm or your fortifying brew. But fortifying brew is obviously on a 6-minute cooldown. It is reduced by your keg smash and your tiger palm, but it's still a 6-minute cooldown. You know what I mean? It's still far in between. So this one gives you an extra one. It's 2-minute cooldown. It's really nice. You can use it on like lots and lots of groups, and it's a really good mitigation spell. So I definitely go for this, because another thing is when like somebody accidentally pulls like another group into you, and you've got 2 groups on you, you can just pop this without worrying about like having your main defensive gone, if you know what I mean. So this is definitely a choice for me. I love dampen harm. It's good in situations. Okay, so next we have sort of like an AoE damage addition sort of line, if you get what I mean. So special delivery, drinking your brews has a 100% chance to toss a keg into the air that lands at your feet, dealing 690 damage within 8 yards and reducing their movement speed by 50%. This is a really nice spell, I think. However, it's only beneficial to you after you drink your brews. So if your brews are on cooldown, then it's not really that good. It's not really doing anything. It does add extra damage, which is nice, and it does reduce their movement speed, which is really nice. But you want like most of your damage to be collecting the adds at the start of the fight, and this basically pops it up in the air and lands and deals damage. It lands after 3 seconds of being in the air. You know what I mean? So it's going to take time for that keg to fly and then fall. So it is a really good option in my opinion, but that sort of delay on picking up your ads and stuff like that it's not good enough for me. Next on the line is Russian Jade Wind. Now this is my choice because it summons a whirlwind around you. It's instant cast, doesn't cost any energy or anything like that, and it just adds that extra. It sort of dots enemies. Let me show you. Well, not dots them. It deals damage to them over time. You'll see what I mean. See what I mean? See, it's hitting both of those adds every second for a little bit of damage, which is really good when you like initially go to pick up groups. So it damages up to 6 enemies within 8 yards. So that's like pretty much most groups in dungeons and stuff like that. It deals 1.5k damage over 8.3 seconds, so it's a nice damage buff. You know what I mean? Think if that's going on the 6 enemies, it'll be nice. So this is my choice because yeah, it's easy to throw into your rotation. You haven't got to like worry about it too much, and it's a nice damage addition. So these two, you can switch between these. I might actually play a little bit more with both of these because they're both pretty good spells. Exploding Keg is nice as well. It hurls a big flaming keg to people. It deals like a 4k damage, sorry, 3.5k damage, which is pretty nice. So it's a nice like chunk of damage. It also causes them to miss their melee attacks for the next 3 seconds, so it gives you a nice sort of like break if you use it in a fight or something like this. So that's like another chance of like a mitigation spell. So I never thought of that actually before, so that's not too bad. This could be another one to experiment with. So this row, play around with it, see what you think is better. I might try this because like I said, missing their melee attacks for 3 seconds, that could be pretty nice. You know what I mean? Say if you know it's like maybe the cats in Spires of Ascension, you know what I mean, they put that bleed on you. Maybe if you smash this keg on them and then flew through them, like she torpedoed through them, they wouldn't be able to hit you with that bleed. So, you know what I mean? You got to play with it and see how you feel. But for the sake of this video, my one is definitely Russian Jade Wind because it's just easy to throw into your rotation. Alright, so next we have your last line. I don't really think there's like a specific sort of specialization for this line, but we'll read them through. Stagger is 5% more effective at delaying damage, and you gain 15% haste based on your current level of Stagger. This is my choice because obviously if you're taking lots and lots of damage and getting lots of Stagger, the most important thing to you is to get your brews off cooldown. And I believe that your hasting, sort of like your haste contributes to your brew cooldowns. So the more haste you have, the faster your brew is going to be on cooldown and the more damage you mitigate. So this is my choice personally, and with Stagger being 5% more effective at delaying damage, it's just, it makes you tankier, which is good. What you want, you're a tank. So on to the next one. Drinking from your brews has a 30% chance to coat the monk in celestial flames. While celestial flames is sorry, I can't talk. While celestial flames is active, spinning crane kick applies a breath of fire, and breath of fire reduces damage affected by the enemies to you. Do you know what I mean? So it puts a 5% damage reduction on the people that you coat with the flames. Now, this isn't really a good choice for me because spinning crane kick isn't one that you want to be chucking in your rotation all the time. It uses energy, and it doesn't reduce your brews and stuff like that. So it's basically just for picking up ads that are stray while your kick smash is on cooldown. So I wouldn't really use this that much. That's why it's not my choice. Next you have Blackout Combo. Blackout Kick also empowers your next ability. Tiger Palm damage is increased by 100%. Breath of Fire, the cooldown is reduced by 3%. Keg Smash reduces the remaining cooldowns of your brews by an additional 2 seconds. And Celestial Brew pauses stagger damage for 3 seconds. See, now this can be pretty nice as well, but you sort of have to pay attention to what you're using after your Blackout Kick, so it's more to concentrate on. You're already, trust me, in serious fights when you're taking loads and loads of damage, and you need to mitigate, and you need to purify, and you need to heal, and stuff like this. Oh yeah, I didn't even go over Expel Harm. I'm very sorry. I will talk to you about Expel Harm in just a second. So yeah, this is my choice for that, bro. Okay, so let me talk to you about Expel Harm. Expel Harm is basically a 5-second 3k heal, and it also sort of spreads out 10% of the damage that you heal for as damage to enemies. So it's an extra AoE spell, and it heals you, and it's on a 5-second cooldown. Now people say that monks haven't got much like self-healing or sort of like self-utility and stuff like that. I don't know how you would say it, but it's not a 5-second cooldown heal, man, and it heals for 3k each time. So you can just pop that thing all the time and just give yourself little top-ups. And another great thing about Expel Harm is that oh sorry. Yeah, Gift of the Ox, that's the one. When you take damage, you have a chance of spawning a healing sphere. It's like a little healing ball that lands on the floor, and it will pop over time and it will heal you for a certain amount. But the thing is if you use your Expel Harm, each healing ball on the floor will add an extra stack to your Expel Harm. And when you use Expel Harm, it will pop all of the balls at the same time, and it will give you like a large heal, if you know what I mean. So there's 2 ways you can use Expel Harm. You can use it constantly every 5 seconds to sort of like keep yourself top when you're not taking much damage and give your healer some assistance. Or you can save up all of these little orbs that it spawns around you, and you can pop it, and it'll heal you for a large amount. So that's really nice. So it's a really nice self-healing spell. And I'll talk to you about my conduits and stuff like that in a second, but there's a nice like synergy with these spells that you can get. Another thing is that I forgot to mention is your Celestial Fortune. You have a chance equal to your critical strike to be healed for an additional 65% of the amount healed. So there's like a crit chance that lies in between people healing you, if you know what I mean. So if you're getting healed by somebody, depending on your critical strike chance, they have a chance of that amount to heal you for the extra 65% chance of the amount that was healed. So say if you did like a big heal on me, and this thing procced because of my crit, which is 21%, so it's got 21% chance to hit, that big heal would heal for 65% extra on me. So healing is very easy for a monk, right? You can heal a monk very easy. This is why they don't have very much health, because one, they're reducing the damage they take all the time by like 40%, which is insane. And the other thing is, we're really nice to heal because of this, you know, and you can get extra heals on us. So there is that. And obviously, if you're a Brewmaster, you need more armor than a normal Windwalker, so you get Brewmaster's balance. That's basically one of your like passive skills and all your skills. I am very sorry I missed that. It's very noobish of me. Okay, right. So that's your talents. Legendaries is pretty easy because there's only at the moment one main choice for me. That's Stormstack's Last Keg. Stormstack's Last Keg gives you an extra 30% damage on all your keg smashes, and it gives you an extra charge of keg smash. Now, I cannot tell you how beautiful that is for collecting ads. It's so nice to go from having one keg smash, which you can grab a small group of people, to having two, which you can really go bang one side, and then light them all up on fire and stuff like that, and you can save the cooldowns of your kegs and stack them up so that you've got one in the bank and stuff like that. So for me, this legendary is the one. But however, there are others, and I'll talk to you about them. Breath of Fire ignites your right leg, causing your Blackout Kick and Spinning Crane Kick to deal 100% extra damage as fire damage, and refreshes the duration of your Breath of Fire on the target. This one's alright for like damage and stuff like that, but you know, I mean, 30% extra damage on your smashes, they do so much more damage, and there's an extra charge of them, so this one way outweighs this one. I won't talk to you too much about these because you can just read them and see what you're doing. I'll just tell you my recommendations. So there's this one, and this one is another possible viable option. Celestial Brew increases your armor by 25% for 7 seconds, so you'll take less damage whilst your shield is active, which is nice. And it also gives your Purifying Brew a 25% chance not to consume charge, which is like really nice, you know what I mean? So it means you'll potentially have like 3 charges every now and again, and you can just clear all of that stagger, gain all of those stacks of Purifying Chi, drop all that damage with it as well. So yeah, it's definitely another option. So for me, it's between these two, definitely. But that's my choice personally. So let's go to Covenant choices. There are some viable options, like I quite like the Nightface Stomp. That's a nice little addition. He basically stomps like a Fey line, and if you stand in the Fey line, it heals you, or if you're an enemy, it deals damage to you and stuff like that. So that's not too bad. I can't remember the Venthyr one that much apart from the door, but I can remember the ability itself not being too great, so I can't really remember much about it, I'm afraid. The Necrolord has the thing. It's like another sort of keg smash sort of thing, and I can't remember what that does either. But that was just my second choice, I do believe. I don't know. That's not too important. But the one that is important is the one that I chose, which is the Kyrian. The reason I chose Kyrian is because of the potions you get, which is just a straight up 20% heal, and it also removes all diseases, poisons, cures, and bleeds from you. Now bleeds, here's a little tip for you guys: if you're tanking Castle Nathria and you're on the Huntsman, if you pop one of these during the bleed, you can actually clear it, so you don't need to taunt swap. So it's really, really useful, and I can't tell you how like good it is for dungeons and stuff like that. Straight up 20% heal, plus all the removals. If you pop all your stuff like Fortifying Brew or any health increases and stuff like that, it'll increase the amount you get healed for, so that's really nice. The other spell you get for Kyrian is Weapons of Order, which increases your mastery by 10%. which is insane. So yeah, mastery for yourself is your damage attack power basically. The more mastery you have, the more damage you'll do. Obviously you want to deal a lot of damage to create a lot of threat. So yeah, there's that. So that's the reason I chose that. Another thing is, if you go to conduits, the conduits you get for these guys are really, really nice. So let me just show you quickly. I choose Pelagos because he increases my mass speed by a further amount, and it also drops these little souls on the floor that if I run through it, increases the duration of it. That's really nice. Walking with the Ox is my choice for my potency combat. Conduit. Abilities of Ground Shuffle reduce the cooldown of Nazal by 0.5 seconds, so Nazal can come out more often, which is really nice. And Nazal Stomp deals an additional 35% damage, which is really good, you know what I mean? Gives you extra damage, and I mean Nazal can come out and play a bit more, which is great. Focusing Mantra is my next choice, because it reduces the cooldown of my Vial of Serenity, so basically as I'm using my attacks, if that's on cooldown, it will reduce the cooldown of it, so that's really nice. My next choice of Conduit is an Endurance Conduit. While under the effects of Celestial Brew, the effects that heal you are increased by 26%, and this is what I told you about the synergy of these spells. If you're taking loads and loads of damage, your health's going down, and you're clearing all these stacks, you can let your healer top you up to the point where all of your purifying brews are gone and they're all on cooldown, and then you're still taking damage. You pop your Celestial Brew. Now your Celestial Brew will give you that nice big shield. Nothing's getting through that shield, and your health will stay the same. Now whilst that's active, you have extra healing on yourself, so you can use your Expel Harm and your Chi Weed to top up that damage, so that when your shield runs out, you're back to full health. It is so easy to maintain yourself as a Brewmaster Monk now, in my opinion. You're constantly clearing the damage on yourself, you're giving yourself the mighty shield, and then you're healing yourself, you know what I mean? You're kiting the damage with all your mobility. I love Brewmaster Monk at the moment. It's in a really great spot. So yeah, there's that. So that's the synergy I was talking to you about with the heals and stuff like that. So next on my choice I have the Cleanse Investments. Basically I'll just drop enchanted materials and like bits of cloth and stuff like this for you, so it's just like a nice way to like earn a little bit extra money and stuff like this. From another potency conduit, I got Kick Smash deals an additional 10% damage to target affected by Breath of Fire. So if it's a group big enough to hit with one Kick Smash, you do Kick Smash, Fire Breath, and then another Kick Smash, because it will increase the damage of your last one if they're already on fire. My next conduit is an Endurance Conduit. Expel Harm's healing is increased by 35%. That's just a no-brainer, you know what I mean? You want your 5-second cooldown heal to heal for more, then hell yeah. That's my choice. And the final conduit link, if you would call it that, is Let Go of the Past. Using a spell ability reduces magic damage you take by 1% for 6 seconds. Right, now when using a spell afterwards that is not a repeat of the same spell, it increases this amount by 1%, up to 3%. So if you've ever played Windwalker, your mastery is basically about using different spells in different orders so that you're not using the same spell twice. This is called like combo and strikes or something like this, and it increases the damage based on your mastery. Now that is basically chucking an element of that into Brewmaster so that you don't want to use the same spell twice, because it won't upgrade your stack of the Let Go of the Past. However, if you get it up to 3 stacks and then you use 2 spells of the same thing, you have 6 seconds to make a combo to keep it at 3 stacks. So if you use the same spell twice, it won't clear it or get rid of it, but it will just mean the cooldown will start ticking down to below 3 seconds or 2 seconds or something like this, if you understand. So that's really nice, you know, 3% less magical damage. That's just sweet for a tank, you know what I mean? So that's pretty much it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed my video, and I'll be putting more out there. This is my first video, so I hope you liked and enjoy it, and please like and subscribe for more. Peace out, y'all. Oh, sorry. Also, I forgot one thing. Your stat priority. Right. Haste is good because it reduces cooldowns of your spell casting speed, your attack speed, and your energy, and it increases your energy regeneration, but it's not what you want. Mastery gives you the dodge, and it increases the amount you dodge each time you use the Blackout kick. That's not really the main thing about your mastery. The main thing about your mastery is it increases your attack power. The more mastery you have, the more damage you do, which is nice. And Brewmaster Monks deal quite a lot of damage anyway for tanks. Next you have Versatility, which is a no-brainer. Increases your damage, and it increases your healing that you do, and it also decreases the damage you take. So for me, stat priority would be Versatility on the main, Mastery on the second, and then just crit strike and haste and stuff like that. Just round it off. You basically want as much versatility as you can, because also if you want to like switch between PvP, Windwalker and stuff like that, you need versatility for it. So my personal opinion for you guys is to stack as much versatility as possible, then worry about your mastery and your crit. You want quite a high mastery so you can deal enough damage to make enough aggro and pull off of people and stuff like that. So yeah, there you go. That's my Brewmaster guide. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you again next time. Peace out. Hey guys, also one last little thing. In terms of weapons, right? It states on the specialization that stabs and polearms are the preferred weapons, but however I choose to use 2 one-handeds purely for the reason that you can enchant Ascended Vigor and Celestial Guardians onto your weapons instead of just one. Obviously if you had a 2-handed like this, you would only be able to put 1 enchant on it, so you won't be able to get both of them. Also, because I'm an alchemist, I can make these oils, embalming oil and shadowcore oil, and you can put 1 on each of your weapons, or you can have 2 embalming oils so you get loads of healing and stuff like that. So personally I prefer using 2 one-handeds over 2-handed, but if you know any reason why staffs and polearms are better and preferred, if it gives you any sort of bonus for having a 2-handed, then please let me know in the comments down below. And that is it this time, I promise. Thanks all for watching. Alright, peace out.